Welcome to this presentation about the Julong IP Interactive Whiteboard. Like all interactive whiteboards, this has three elements that are very important. First one being the board itself, which is generally connected by USB cable running across to your computer, which can be Windows, Macintosh or Linux based. So you can end up having any of those operating systems. The computer is then connected to our overhead projector, and we have the three elements working together to drive the board. Important to note, there is no external power required to connect to the board, it's just the USB cable. I've tried to list here some of the features of using the interactive whiteboard, and when we come down here, what I can do is I can drag down a list of various different pen and brush styles that we can work with. There's a great range of different pens. We've got the standard pen. We also have transparent pens that we can work with so that we can highlight certain things. I can change colour quickly and transparency as well using those pens. So I can get a lighter shade, come over, or a darker shade as the case. The next thing I want to draw your attention to is the shape recognition function in the board. Let's try an irregular shape. And finally, let's try an oval shape. In fact, any of the standard geometric shapes you see here can be replicated using the geometric recognition or shape recognition pen available as part of the IP board. So let's just examine that resource bank again. By opening up the resource bank, we can explore any of the areas. I've chosen to go to the geography area, the maps. Let's choose a map of Australia and drag it onto our stage to work. Having dragged it, you can see that it is editable in lots of different ways. One of the ways that we can work with it is we can rotate it. Seeing I've chosen the land down under, you can certainly rotate it, put it whatever way we like. So all of those functions are available. As I said before, I can edit things, so I can select a certain area. If I want to fill an area, it's a very quick, very easy thing to be able to change. The other feature to bring your attention to is that I can choose to bring in a resource from elsewhere and add it to my gallery. For example, if I would like that image of the tap there, what I can choose to do is go to my camera mode. I can choose to capture a section of the screen, and in doing so, if I drag out my area and capture, I have now captured that object clearly into my document. The advantage of having done that is that I can now either use it in that document or I can choose to add it to my own personal gallery. What I now have is I have available in my personal gallery a graphic that I can use over and over again in any other application. Next, you'll see that I have an insert menu, and there are various media that I'm able to insert into a document, and I can choose to insert a list of different types of media. For example, if we look here, I can insert image files, flash files. Going back to image files, I can insert the common formats, bitmap, JPEG, PNG, WMF. So there are a large number of files that I can drag into my presentation. Here's an example of a flash image file that I have brought into the IP board software. And you can see, this is a fully active file that I can easily work with. You'll see the clock is able to be brought up. Sorry, it didn't work the first time. The clock can be brought up onto the screen, and not only can we adjust it to show the time, but I can use it as a countdown clock if we have a certain amount of time left in our presentation, or to in fact time something using the stopwatch mode. So quite useful presentations. We have a protractor, a ruler and a compass, which I will show you a little bit later on. What I want to talk now about is the power of links, and the Julong software for presenting and editing does support linking in lots of different ways. What I'd like to show you is, I'm just going to show you here how we can hyperlink, and the hyperlink function allows you to link not only to a page in your presentation, such as in a PowerPoint presentation or a web page, but it will also allow you to link from a file, from a hard disk. So if you have a pre-recorded file, such as a Word document or an Excel file, that you want to open from within your presentation, it is a very easy task to do so. So it supports all of that linking. Let's have a look at an example of how I might use that. What I've got here is something where I'm talking about Asia, and we're identifying countries. I've got an activity here where I want somebody to click a puzzle and go out to a website. By going to the website, I'm now into another interactive experience where I get the opportunity to go in and do some more activities. So I can pop those points in and identify certain areas and certain parts. Very simply, after I finish with my activity, I'm brought back to my presentation again. What I've got here is a link then to other pages. So by clicking that link, I've brought myself onto another page in my presentation, and I've got a part here where I've said click here to go back again. So you can see that the links are very similar to a hyperlink document, and I can either attach them to objects, or I can use an icon here, which is now taking me out of my links onto the next section. And for this section, I'd like to talk to you about how to use audio. And audio can be powerful, obviously, in an educational environment or in a business presentation. But let's just talk about how we might use it in a classroom situation. I can use audio to give feedback to somebody. So here I am with an English sentence, and I need to drag the words into the right place. If I think I have all my words in the right place, I can check it.
The cat sat on the old man's hat.
By audio feedback. So there are a lot of uses for audio and for any of the other multimodal presentation modes in a presentation setting, and they're all supported in this software, which makes it very, very useful. The next area I'd like to talk about and show you is some of the specific mathematics tools that have been brought into the software. What I can do here under my toolbar is I have, for example, the protractor. The protractor is a very powerful protractor because it allows me to customize it. I can change it from being semicircular into fully circular. I can change the units on there into radians. I can change the size, I can change the scale around that. Any of those sorts of points. But just using it in its normal mode is quite easy. I can rotate it like that, and I can move my pointer to be able to read off the angle here. Let's just move it over and get a bit of an idea of how it might be used in context, just to measure an angle, and in this case, check our right angle. It does come out. Of course, The other mathematical tool we can use is the compass. And the compass is also a very powerful tool for being able to use in something like a mathematics lesson. Again, with the compass, what I can do is I can choose to show radius in pixel or in centimetres. And having done so, if I now am happy to draw, you'll see as I draw, I get to see the actual size of the arc I'm drawing, the angle of the arc and the radius. All that information is available to me directly on the screen as I'm drawing my arc. So many different things that I'm able to use in a mathematics context. You'll see there that I have put on the grid on the background as well, and I have a choice of different grids. I can show it, and I can also change the grid style to different spacings and make it a bit more appropriate for the context I want to work in. Obviously the colour of the grid is changeable as well, so any of those things can be turned on and off at will. Another one of the advanced features that I want to talk about here is the network function of the board. And with the board, it is quite possible to share the board throughout various classrooms or different parts of an organisation. Let's say we have a language classroom, we have one master teacher. That master teacher can actually set themselves up in a network function. That is saying that we have not got a driver installed for a camera, because we could also put a camera in here and we can have a webcam between the two different rooms, and in doing so we can control the board and direct different boards so that a question can be asked and sent to the main master board. So there is a full networking capability that allows for all of that information to be shared between boards running throughout a school or some other organisation where people are working together. The final point that I want to tell you about is shipping with the board in the software is a screen recorder function. So what we're able to do is we're able to capture everything that is taking place on the board and record it into a movie to show people. Now this is great in terms of being able to share training of the board. You can record any aspect that you do or any function, such as the function of the protractor or the ruler or the clock, and by doing that, by recording it on screen and playing it back, you can show somebody how to use various parts of the board. So those enhanced functions allow this to be a very, very usable, very useful tool in any presentation situation. Looking at here is what Julong has developed, which is Ultra Board software, which enables you to have 4 separate screens that you can work with. Only one of the screens is an interactive whiteboard, this section here. The rest are just dummy screens that enable the presentation to take place and for people to be able to operate on them. And what I can do is, in this mode, I can switch between any screen at any time. So what I can do is I can change down to get my screen here. If I want to add another screen to work with, I can annotate that screen here. And then what I can do is choose to move that one out of the way and do a swap over. And I can work actively on any screen at any time and record various parts and send them up to various sections. Presentation, I hope I've been able to reveal for you all of the many great features that are in the Julong interactive software. It is very, very powerful software, as you can see from the features and the functions that we've been able to demonstrate in the presentation. We think it is extremely powerful and it will make your presentations very interactive and very powerful. Good luck.